Hello, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. Welcome to PANDO. I wanted to take a step back from all of the business marketing, everything that I have here, and just talk to you straight up about what you are really walking into. And this is something that it is the summation of all of my business knowledge. This is the big picture. There are two sides happening here. There is the unethical and the ethical. This is not a new concept. The ethical versus the unethical is over 4,000 years old. It is most often referred to as the dichotomy of good and evil. That is very, very 2nd century. So I like to use more modern terminology, which is ethical versus unethical. There's a lot of labels and words and noise going around. And one of the videos I have in this section of the course focuses on words matter. I really recommend you take a minute and watch that video. I will wait. Welcome back. So that being said, unethical people are not careful with their words. They have characteristics that ethical people don't have. That's why they're unethical. The first thing that they lack is awareness of others, which is what we call on the 5th ethic, accountability. It is the conscious awareness of, oh, I shouldn't be an asshole, which is the lesson to be learned at the 5th ethic. Every single one of us goes through this stage. Now, either you go through the stage in a blip or you spend your life here. And at the end of the day, people who are between the 1st and the 5th ethic do not have accountability. Now, there are some who try. There are some who are intuitively trying to do it. And the difference between the 12 ethics and not is not intuition, not instinct, but it's conscious awareness. It's being consciously aware of the ethics. Intuitively, we're all ethical. Some are more intuitive than others. But you really learn the ethic when you become consciously aware of it. This is what we refer to in skill building as master level. So really, a person from the 1st to the 5th ethic are instinctively ethical, intuitively ethical, but it's going to be in ratio to how well or how tuned into their ethics, their intuition they are. It's at the master level, the 6th ethic upon completion of the 5th, that they walk away going, oh, I shouldn't be an asshole. And they become consciously aware of it. And this is really the tipping point between being unethical and being ethical. We are going to see a massive uprise like this. I mean, the chart's going to do this, of ethics. It's already started. I'm starting to notice businesses taking a stand. I have something that I do where I will not do business with anybody until and unless they provide me with their ethical philosophy. I demand it from people. I literally say to them, before we do anything, you tell me what your ethical philosophy is. And if they cannot consciously provide that, they're not even thinking about it. If they argue with you, they're not ethical. They'll try and bypass this process. So I'm looking at all of this going, fascinating. What's happening in our culture, especially over the next 5 years, is a massive demand of ethics, an increase in quality. Your life is 100% determined by the quality in which you set the standards at. These are the ethics. If you have low ethics, you're going to have low quality. If you have high ethics, you're going to have high quality. You cannot have a high quality life and high ethics. You cannot have a high quality life and low ethics. You can't do it. It's not possible. This is where you see people with really expensive lifestyles, really expensive cars, really expensive branding, and they're an asshole. And they're miserable, and they're unhappy, and they're treating everyone like crap. You cannot have a high quality of life and no ethics. Once you realize that the ethics are the foundation to a high quality life, and you pursue the ethics for ethical purposes, the entire system switches. We are going to be seeing this sociological change over the next decade. Because this is becoming consciously aware, because the majority of our culture is now shifting into the age of authenticity, into the new ethical era, it's going to turn the tide. It is human evolution and human growth. We are absolutely right on part of where we need to be. And as soon as that hits, we're going to see that increase. Now, there's going to be a lot of noise and crying from the unethical. However, it's just their stage of growth. Now, let's talk about your business. When you build a business, you have the choice to build up an ethical business model or an unethical business model. 100% of all businesses right now are the unethical business model. There are very few that are built off of the ethics. I have not seen a single one. Sales is unethical. Marketing is unethical. The only marketing I have seen that's ethical is Nike, Apple, VeggieTales. If the marketing is telling you what they stand for, who they represent, that's ethical. If the marketing is telling you what you should do and what you should buy, that's unethical. I'm going to give you an example of sales now. Sales is a hot topic. Salesmen will sit there and tell you night and day that you need sales. I have a lot of people who argue with me about this. I have one saleswoman, she ripped right into me about, this is my business. This is what we do. You can't have a business and not have sales. Restaurants. The waiter does not tell you, you got to take advantage of this hot deal right now. They offer you a glass of wine. And that's sales. That's the difference. I don't call it sales. I call it strategic solutions. Strategic solutions versus sales. And when you focus on strategic solutions, which is exactly the experience you get when you're in a restaurant, versus a salesman trying to bully you into shit that you don't need or want. When they focus on your pain point and your fear, oh, in psychology, we have a word for that. It's called domesticated terrorism. 100% of the business jargon is criminal psychology. If they studied psychology, they would know that. 100% of the language is criminal psychology. They think like criminals. They act like criminals. They use words like criminals. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we just do a whole thing on words matter? So when you are sitting down into this section, this is a real huge thing I want to impart upon you. This course is Mother Nature's business plan. I am going to be giving you the same business model that Steve Jobs used, that I use. This is the business model that works. This is the ethical business model. You do not need, you're more than welcome to look and try, but you will not need any other resource, because we literally provide you with 100% of the formula from dream to completion in the right order of operations, with all the physics, with all the biology, with all the proof, with all the science. We show you the man behind the curtain. We give you every tool you need to show you what you need to be doing, when and where, and in what order. And we show you the exact same material that we used for our business that we pulled from Steve Jobs, who knew a thing or two about business, just saying. You're going to get a lot of noisy know-nothings, people who tell you what they can and can't do. And here's their agenda. Here is their truth. If they can convince people that their way is the right way to do it, it justifies them being an asshole. So the more people who can join them absolutely verifies, validates why they have to be an asshole. But if you come up with a better way, an ethical way, it reveals their truth, that they did have a choice. They're just an asshole. So they're going to do everything in their power to get in your way, to steer you toward their way of doing things. This is where we've heard the term misery loves company. That's not true at all. Misery does not love company. What misery loves is validation and proof that they don't have to do the work to change for energy preservation purposes. That is a huge part of our biology, energy preservation. So because they are focused on their energy preservation of, oh my God, I don't want to change. As a result, they want the validation to justify why they're an asshole to everybody. More importantly, and this is really coming right down to it, they don't want to face the seventh ethic. That's really what they're doing. Because the moment they realize what they've done, they're going to have to answer for what they've done. And the judge, they're going to wish it was a God. It's going to be themselves. They're going to have to answer to themselves as to why they were so much of an asshole. And most people can't handle that. It's not because misery loves company. No. It's not because people don't like change. No. It's because they have been compromising their ethics. And that is something they are going to have to answer for. And that is something that real deep down on the first level of the subconscious mind, they're going, oh my God, I really don't want to have to answer to myself as to why I was such an asshole when I could have been nice the entire time. Because they know exactly how many people they have broken and stomped on to get ahead. And they are not mentally prepared to face themselves ethically. So the more people they can convince to follow them, the more they can deny what they have done, because they are not ready for the seventh ethic. And that is really why they do what they do. So as soon as you realize that there are two sides to this coin, and that by being here, you are instantly, by default, on Mother Nature and the subconscious mind and biology and the ethical path, you're set. You're set. 100% of everything we put together is absolutely screened and filtered to make sure your subconscious mind is going to be nurtured, healthy, and strong when we are done with you. And it's going to be embedded right into your business model so that you can transfer that nourishment onto your staff, onto your people, and onto your patrons. Now, there's two sides to this. Either you already have a business and you're wanting to upgrade it and switch over. We do offer that service. We have a very gentle transferring and upgrading a traditional business model over to the ethical business model, Mother Nature's business model. We also have, for the aspiring business owner, building it from scratch so that it absolutely nurtures and builds it from the ground up. But we do everything backwards here. Everything is backwards. We start with you and the self, and then we go into your marketing and we go right to your purpose and your why. And then we talk about who this business is going to be for and why, who you represent, what is your cause and what is your purpose, which should be tied into your life stream and your dream. And then we set this and we build it right into your life stream so that it's cultivated and nourished right where you love and live. That way it flourishes and nurtures. Now, while that's happening, we work with you on networking and we give you all the education and the schooling for your networking so you understand power economics and how that infuses into all of this. There is a very famous line. I believe it was Robert of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series who said it. He may have been quoting someone else, but I remember hearing it from him, so I'm going to quote him. If you want to know how something is done, find somebody who has done it the way you want it done and turn that person into your mentor. For me, that was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was 100% my role model. I took everything he did and I learned everything from him. And this is the psychology. This is the psychology of Steve Jobs and breaking down the physics, the science, the psychology of what he was doing to you in a formula format so you can understand how it works, so you can apply it to you. Our mission and goal is to literally turn every company, every business into an ethical business model that represents the ethics and the philosophy of Steve Jobs. That is our mission. And we're doing it for the underdog because they cannot live in an unethical world. They just can't. So we're making an ethical world for them. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.